navigate slowly.
Good evening and welcome. And there's nobody in the house. I'm all here on my own, Susan. All on my own, yet again. Talking to myself. I can see no chats at all on the screen. So does that mean it's not working? It says we've got 7 people in the house. Oh, they're coming in now, Susan. Bloody hell, I thought I was all on my own then for a minute. Honestly, I just didn't know what to do. Can you see me? I don't know if you can. Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? That's a bit better. You can see me. Good evening, everybody. See the fly flying around again? It always happens about this time of night, doesn't it? Honestly. There's another one there. So good evening, everybody. Denver Skinner's first in the house. Frank Casey, Graham Allison, Christopher, Kevin Polhill, Jeff Arroway, Lewis Farragon. Right. So I just don't know. What we're going to talk about tonight. Anything but dog training. No. Let's talk about dog training, shall we? That's what we're here for. Good evening, Tracy Dodds. And Jordan, good evening to you as well. So you've been watching my videos. Most of you on here are members, most of you, of Patreon. You've been watching my videos. How many videos have you watched where we've had to introduce discipline? We've had to use corrections. How many videos have you watched? There's been hundreds of them, haven't there? But there's been thousands of videos out there. So don't let's just go, oh, it's always discipline. Good evening, Steve. Good evening, Susan. She's in the house as well. But I get so confused. And this is why I've decided to follow religion. I've decided to go down one of the routes of the, I think, is it 40, 50 gods? There's 40 or 50 different religions out there. But I'm studying them. And I just don't want to land on one and go, he's the one. So I'm studying them. It's giving me a freaking headache. And the more I watch it, the more it reminds me of dog trainers. Everybody's got this wonderful idea that you can train a dog with love and affection who come on the internet and spout this stuff. And I'm all for it. Show me. Convert me. Convert me. But I keep reading comment after comment after comment. There's a comment on here tonight by a well-known dog trainer that I follow, and it says, wouldn't it be nice to be able to go back and see the standard of the dogs that the people showed the training and how they got a result, whether they got that result later on in the dog's life? Well, that's important to me. There's no point in giving a way of training and it only works for you, but it doesn't work for the owner. It's important it works for the owner, doesn't it? So it's all about ideologies. And isn't religion exactly the same? Isn't it so confusing? But isn't it funny how people jump on the bandwagon and believe something when really they've not seen true facts? And we could talk about this Zach George situation, couldn't we? And it's bullying. It's bullying, trying to get people to not go to your seminars, not go to your training days, to get people to turn up and protest because they don't believe in your method of training. Well, I can tell you one thing. I'll say it publicly. I've never watched a Zach George video and been impressed in my life. Now, is that me doing exactly the same as all the other dog trainers out there, talking about someone in public? Training has become such a poisonous chalice because anybody who uses correction in any way is being attacked by somebody out there regarding dog training. And my argument is this. Put up the dogs and show me. Put up the problem dogs and show me. You call yourself a positive only trainer. Positive only. I still don't believe, and I'm open to everything. I still don't believe that it's not possible. I honestly believe there comes a point. We all want to be as positive as possible, but I honestly believe there has to be positives and there has to be negatives. And as soon as you talk about it, then you get thrown under the bus. The same as I've been talking on purpose. I've been just prodding the bear, as they say, is it? Prodding the bear, talking about religion on Facebook, of all places. I've not been thrown off yet because I haven't said anything really negative. But I have a right to believe what I want to believe. And if people want to try and brainwash me with slight comments that are slightly bullying because they're religious, then doesn't that make you question it? Because surely if you're religious and you're a decent person, you wouldn't try and bully someone into following your belief. You wouldn't be trying to belittle someone for not believing. It's a choice. And if there was a God, why did he give us that choice to make those decisions in our brain? And the same as dog training. If you get results, but your results aren't as good as other people you watch on the internet, then my advice is change your results. If they've got better results, but anybody can sit in a sterile environment and train a dog and talk about it. But it's getting out there and dealing with the dogs that have gone 3 years, 4 years of unwanted behavior, and then you come in and solve that on video in front of everyone, and you get results, and the people go away really happy. That's the important part, isn't it? They won't show us because they know it can't be done, but in their minds, they think it can. Well, I'm not going to go into names, but anybody who follows me on Facebook could actually soon work out who I'm talking about. But there's a dog trainer out there who's come through martial arts background and at a gym, and he's training, and he's been making comments to me on my own Facebook page telling me that I'm wrong, that there is such thing as positive not okay, I get totally confused. That there is a such thing as positive only training. But I then tried to read what he was telling me, and whether it's because he's just an intellectual that's way above my intelligence level, I couldn't understand it. Well, I read so much and I do understand so much and I can decipher so much, but I found it totally confusing what he was saying. And what I'm saying to you is people don't want it in a roundabout way or a complicated way. They want it in a simple way. They want a quick fix. They want it to work. Now, is there anything as such as a quick fix? Yes, there is in certain situations. But you still got to put the groundwork in. You still got to do the homework that the trainer shows you. Now, I just released a video on what some people would go instantly, oh, that's just yank and crank. That's old-fashioned Keeler method training, that is. That's just yank and crank. And if you're promoting yourself as a balanced, positive-only trainer, or you say to me that people call you a balanced, positive-only trainer. Well, hang on, what is a balance? I thought balance was both sides. But if you're called a positive-only trainer and you're doing seminars, with two other people, and I know this person is, and I'm not bitching behind the back. I'm not even mentioning because I don't want to cause a internet freaking fight. I just want to express my opinion, and I'm entitled to express my opinion. And I'm glad we've debated. I've given my opinion. He's given his opinion. But I never asked for his opinion, but he gave it, and he's entitled to give it. If I write something, I'm leaving myself open for people to come back and go, you're wrong. And he said, I'm wrong. He said, there is a such thing as positive-only trainers. And he classes himself as one, or it's people he knows classes himself as one. But he then went into in-depth about What if a dog goes wrong and it's heading towards a chipping machine or something? And would you stand on the lead? Well, that's not positive. It's negative. Well, it is positive because you're saving the dog's life, isn't it? So it's positive, but it's not purely positive, is it? But purely positive. What is purely positive in reality? Is there anything in life that is purely positive? Steve said he confused me with what he's saying. It's aversive, yeah. And this is the whole point. I want debate. But let's debate. Let's not. If you've got somebody who is dyslexic like myself, and my mind races, I accept it. It's me as a person. I'm going to be thinking all the time. And if you're talking to me and we're typing with each other, and you're good at typing, or you're good at intellectually educated, then you're going to do a lot better than me. But I tell you what, I was totally lost with that. And I asked Sue to read it when she got home, and she didn't understand it. And Steve said he didn't understand it because surely, what's that word we use? Keep it simple, stupid. And that's not reflecting on him. I'm saying that's the phrase that most people can get their head around if you keep it simple. Jay Bird, as soon as you withhold a reward, the dog experiences some level of stress. Well, you're dead right, Jay. And Jay Bird, and exactly the same as if we withhold a toy. If you've built that drive and desire around that toy, that dog can become frustrated. That dog can start jumping up. What are you going to do when it jumps up? Reward? No. There you go, as Denver says, keep it simple, stupid. So I want debate, but they only come in for about 5 minutes with me because my brain then runs a little bit and I start typing back. And they don't get into a real debate. They say their piece and then they're gone. And I thank him for saying what he said, because that's debate. It doesn't mean we've got to agree or we don't disagree. But the difference between me and dog training and religion and dog training, not religion and discussion, debate. So I got debate, no problem. I like debate. Some people debate Christianity or Judaism or Muslim, anything, and all of a sudden people want to kill each other. They want to kill each other. Well, in the dog training world, everybody wants to outdo each other. And if you've got it's like you get soaked into it, you get pulled into it. You follow a trainer and you start believing everything they say if they can sell themselves and they're putting themselves out there enough on the internet. It's all about pushing yourself on the internet. I don't push myself as much on the internet. I have to make a living. I have to interact with people. But at no point have I said, oh, I'm into intellect. I'm really clever. I'm really intelligent. But I learned to train dogs without all the science. But then I've studied the science as much as I can. And I know a little bit about the science, but somebody who's really studied the science and perhaps knows a lot about science would really outskill me if we were talking and typing about science. But if you came here with your dogs, or I showed you dogs and said, right, show me how you're going to get that dog right. Show me how you're going to get that dog right. Some of that methods that they use will work. I'm not saying it won't, but it'll take them absolutely ages to get the success that I show you how to get the success. And what do? It's simplicity, isn't it? I show you simplicity. And what do they say? Somebody with knowledge can make it look simple. They make it look so simple. It doesn't always mean they can explain it word for word that could win them a degree in an educational background, in an exam. And I don't try and hide the fact that I'm dyslexic. I don't try and cover the fact that I'm dyslexic and say that's my get out of jail card. I type. I have to talk to the computer, so it types the words I want it to type. It's frustrating, but I actually put a lot of stuff out there and I pass on my information that I've gained. That's the important thing that I think that's is great. But I don't mind being challenged. But rather than just challenging me, answer my questions. If you come in wanting to give me not a lecture, debate, then answer the questions. If you let's just say you go to 5 different trainers, and all 5 trainers train different. So you've come up through the ranks before you've gone out there and said, I'm now a professional dog trainer because I know what I'm talking about because I've worked with these aggressive dogs. You've gone to 5 different trainers, and 4 of those trainers have got different methods. What are you going to do? Are you going to take a little bit from each one of them? Or are you going to dismiss them as they don't know what they're talking about? Because that's exactly what Ivan said about Larry, wasn't it? You're dangerous the way you're using the e-collar. And I don't think Larry's dangerous the way he's using the e-collar. That's a difference of opinion. That doesn't mean that I don't think Ivan is very skilled and Ivan's knowledge is really good. I do. And I agree with a lot of what Ivan says and not what Larry says in some ways. But I think what Larry did, he broke it down into a simple format for the average person to understand how to use an e-collar without destroying dogs. As simple as that. So you could have 5 trainers that you followed, and now you've got your own method, and you're now spouting that everything you do is positive only. Well, isn't that the way Jesus went? Didn't he actually explain to everybody? But hang on, let's look at God. Was he positive only? When he decided to wipe everything off the earth, every animal, every human being, because some of the human beings were being naughty in his eyes, and he wished he never made man. So he wiped the whole lot. He put Noah in his ark with his chosen few and wiped everybody. Hang on. That is not positive training, is it? Eh? That's destroying, isn't it? If every dog that came into you was a little bit of a bugger and you shot it, you've not used discipline on it, have you? You've solved the problem, haven't you? You've shot it. I deal with a lot of problem dogs that have got habits that have become bad behavior. And my job is to change that mindset of that dog. And that's exactly the same scenario as I could name trainers that are being picked on at the moment out there. And I think it's unfair the way people are picking on these trainers because they don't believe in their method of training. I say, put up your freaking training and show us how good you are. Instead of talking shit about other trainers, put up your training and show us how good you are. Because I've never seen Zach George train an aggressive dog in my life. Has anybody on here can show me a video of Zach George taking a very, very aggressive dog and turning it around? And what I want them to have a meetup. I want them to meet up, and I want them to have 5 dogs given to them randomly of all sorts of different behavior, and let's see who can master the dogs the best. Wouldn't that really be a good dog show, wouldn't it? Instead of the bullshit we have to sit and watch where it's manufactured for what they want to sell on the TV. There you go, Steve. I haven't seen him train a dog, full stop. Exactly. Steve Morton, Jesus was a fable, a bit like positive training only. I was given a comparison because I was watching the religious thing. I don't really want to go religious, don't get me wrong. I'm joking about that. I have no indication. I've looked at it. Trust me, I've even read the Bible when I had nothing else to do, and that's all that was there was a Bible. You have to work that one out for yourself. But I tell you what, it's confusing. It's confusing because it's misleading. And yet some people fall for it left, right, and center, don't they? And each to their own. I'm not condemning the person who reads the Bible, but I'm not saying that person who reads the Bible is a higher being or a better person because they read the Bible. No, some people who hide behind religion are evil. And it's proven over the years what religion has done, the hatred and the killing for the sake of religion. And this is what's happening in the dog training world. But thank God, at the moment, no one's died that I know of. I do know people who have come away and pulled away from it completely because they're not willing to take the backlash and the backstabbing nasty bastards who want to attack them for their own benefit. Because does Zach George need any more customers? Does he need any more viewers? Oh, he's not doing it for that, he says. He's doing it for the dogs. Well, if he's doing it for the dogs, he needs to pack in putting up videos of the shit he puts up. As simple as that. Now you can say, hang on, Chris, you're attacking Zach George. No, I'm highlighting Zach George because he's attacking another trainer and becoming a vigilante, telling people to go after him. You're having to change your phone numbers, move your address, because some frigging idiot, it's the same as Trump, isn't it? They're now saying someone's going to take him out. Someone's going to assassinate him because they can't stop him with all the other backhanded ways they've tried to stop him being president again, the indictments and everything. I follow all that. I watch politics because politics is no different than the dog training world. It's no different than religion. It depends who you follow. Do you become so obsessed by that one person? And do those seminars then become a cult following? I've got to go to a seminar. But then, listen to Chris. Seminar happens, 3 different trainers, 3 different opinions. Who do you believe? If one's using an e-collar and one tells you I use positive and positive only, who do you believe? Does it create confusion, or is it, hang on, free for all? If nobody wants to use an e-collar, don't go to him. But anybody wants to see how I use an e-collar, come over here. Are you telling me that a lot of these professional trainers are using an e-collar and not using it as a punisher at the right moment? Because if they're not using it to its full advantage. If they're not using it, I'm not saying frying dogs. I'm not saying that. As soon as you start talking out in public about dog training, you get attacked. As simple as that. And I think it's pathetic that people can't debate and talk about it. Because guess what would be really good? A good discussion where 2 people have completely different opinions, but they can still communicate. Any decent trainer can help many people and dogs, regardless of their training philosophy. Well, I don't know. Well, sorry, yes, of course it is, because you said any decent trainer. Yeah, of course you can. I thought you said any trainer, any decent trainer. So my whole argument is I don't want to fall out with everybody out there. If I don't like you, I don't follow you. I don't watch you. But just because I watch you, it doesn't mean everything you say is your God. Because we already know there's more than 24 gods out there. I believe my own eyes, because the dogs will show me whether they have understood the training. Yeah. I've just put up 2 videos today or yesterday. Lovely couple who came here. Dogs, older dogs, got problems, need sorting. I've used humor. I've used human. The dog's not laughing. The dog's not laughing in the slightest. The dog has no understanding about my humor. I've never had a dog roll over with belly laughs yet. I've had a few people roll over with belly laughs, like you're a freaking idiot, Upton, but it lightens the situation. And that's what it's about. It's about getting yourself across to the person so they can learn, they can understand, but they don't go away thinking you've just made me look an absolute freaking idiot. Because you're not there to make anyone look a freaking idiot. Now, we've got somebody on Patreon, and this happens very, very rarely. They came on, they asked for advice. We gave the advice. They argued and argued and argued about the advice. They then went to see one of our trainers, who I've seen the whole video, and it was an excellent lesson where if he'd listened, he would have learnt. There was no discipline used in that lesson, but advice was given. And the guy then says, can I pay you some more money on top of the money you've asked? So hang on. Isn't that like he was freaking happy with the advice? I've only said that because of what I've been told. Would you not think that if you say to someone, here, that's far too cheap, let me give you some more money on top of that, right? And that's happened to me before. And I've taken it on the odd occasion, not always. If they turn up in a big freaking flash car and they look like they're loaded, and I ask them what they do for a living, and they go, no, that's far too cheap. Yeah, I'll get yourself a drink. No problem at all. But if the average guy who you can see struggling, I would say, no, don't worry about that. I'm not greedy, but thanks very much. So if you come here and ask me, do you want a tip? You have to take that chance, don't you? Simple as that. I'm not telling you what I'm going to do. But what I'm saying is, if that was the case, and I believe my trainer 100%, I trust my trainer. well, one of our trainers, not my trainer. You guys in here know who it is, but I've not mentioned it because I think it doesn't need to be mentioned, his name. And then the guy cancels Patreon. Now, I could think, well, hang on. Did the trainer I recommend not give him the service that he deserved? Not give him the lesson that he deserved? Well, I could, couldn't I? Because I wasn't there. But I've seen the video. And that's the brilliant thing about it. I've seen the video. The whole video. Not part of the video broken down. The whole video. Who makes himself look a freaking idiot? The trainer or the person who's got the dog? The person who's got the dog, trust me. The person who's got the dog makes himself look a right idiot. Right? That's not the trainer's fault. He was only assessing the dog and was going to give tuition if the bloke was interested. But if the bloke's not interested because he thinks that the positive only method of food-based training, and I'm not, like I've said to you before many a time, and I'm fed up with doing it, I'm not against food-based training at the right time, for the right reasons, at the right moment. But what I'm against is non-stop flooding a dog with food to get a result in a sterile environment. And then when you take it out in a field where the next level up, not great temptation, not into a field full of pheasants or rabbits everywhere, but the next stage up, and the dog takes absolutely no notice of you at all and makes you look a freaking idiot, I'd get rid of your trainer. I wouldn't be promoting the trainer and saying, I've been to so-and-so. I've been food-based training with so-and-so. Well, if you have, show us it working. Show it to us working. That's what I'm saying. I'm calling you out. But then to come off Patreon, that's a sign that he's not happy. So was he not happy with the trainer? Is he not happy with the Patreon? Well, it makes me question it. Am I allowed to question it? Or is it the fact that he has no indication of listening? And if you don't listen and you don't try something, how do you know it won't work or will work? Another poor dog going to be worked on a shoot and ruin everyone's day. That dog ain't going on a shoot, Steve. Trust me. That dog would be asked to leave a shoot very quickly. If you've seen the video, Steve, honestly, you would know that there's no way on this earth that dog could go on a shoot. It would be gone completely. Now, the thing is, we've had the dilemma of, shall we put the video up now he's left the group? And I said to the trainer who sent me the video, has he give permission for us to share it? And he said, he hasn't give permission. I said, well, ask him if he can give us permission. This is before he left the group. And he'd left. Now he's left the group. So I contacted the trainer and said he's actually left the group. Unfortunately, he obviously didn't like what he was seeing or what the advice we were giving. Right? That Pacific person has no interest in listening. Exactly, Denver. Exactly. Now, we can't do nothing about that. He's been brainwashed by an ideology. Now, if it worked, show us your dog. Never mind the bollocks and show us your dog. The only time that anything worked in that lesson was when the guy took food out of his pocket and put food in front of the dog's nose. Then he got eye contact. No control, but he got eye contact. And he thinks that's good. Because as soon as there's no food there, the dog's eye contact goes to where it wants to go. It doesn't sit, it doesn't listen, doesn't come in. There's no good recall on the dog. There's nothing of any value in that training. And you've got to question the fact that, hang on, what a brilliant video to stick up. But we got morals. We got principles. If he'd said, I do not want that video going up, then that video wouldn't go up. But I say to my trainers that the best thing you can do when you have a lesson, because of today's society, is tape everything and say to people, sorry, but I have to tape it for your security and my security in case someone said something went wrong or something happened that didn't happen. And I suggest that any dog trainer with any backbone would say that to any customer. And if you lost the customer because they didn't want to be on video, then that's tough. But I think the customer has a right to say, listen, I know you videoed it, but I don't want it going up on the World Wide Web. I think that's it. That's the way it should be. But he hasn't said we can, or he hasn't said we can't, because he's left the group. So here's the dilemma. Do you put it up as a training exercise for everybody to see in the group? Not public, World Wide Web, not show him up in the World Wide Web, put it up in the group, or not put it up in the group because he didn't give his permission, but he didn't say no. And that's the difference. So there's the dilemma. We've got a good hour's footage, and I thought to myself, let's talk publicly about it. Let's be honest about it, and let's see what people think about it. So it's really important, isn't it? Like I said, James Bird says that's a great idea. In today's society, if somebody came to you and you weren't videoing it and you gave a correction, they could go back to Joe Blogs and go, he gave a correction on my dog and my dog's never been the same since. Right? And that might be the truth, and it might be a lie. Now, if I give corrections in the video and someone says to me, can I have a copy of the video? I say, no, sorry, you can't. And the reason why is I don't want it spread all over the internet, not because anything I've done wrong, because if it goes to the mother care group, the pregnant women who's got emotional baggage at the moment because you're going through pregnancy and their hormones have changed, and they see it and they're breastfeeding at the time, you know, that might put them off breastfeeding in case the baby bites back. Right. So what I'm saying is there has to be a balance. I am willing for anybody to tell me, listen, stop the lesson. And that's what I say to people. Do you feel that I was too hard on your dog? Do you feel that we didn't get anywhere with your dog? Do you feel that your dog has been hurt in any way? That is so important. Is it the braver trainer who shows his work to the right people? Or is it the braver trainer who edits it right down so you don't see how he got to where he did? Are those videos worth watching if you only see the beginning and the end and you don't see the messy middle? Because it's the messy middle that is the real learning curve for people. And if people are so scared because the bandwagon is rolling to such a level that anybody who uses corrections or discipline is evil and barbaric and going back to Stone Age. Well, what do you think? I think Jesus went into this hall, didn't he, and turned all the tables over. Was it to do with Sunday trading or something? He didn't want Sunday trading. When I was a kid, you couldn't do Sunday trading. When I was about 12, I think they allowed market trading on a Sunday. I think they allowed that. Then they allowed the shops to start opening, didn't they? We were controlled by bullying. We were controlled by fear through the Bible. That's what I'm talking about. We were controlled by religion, that if you step out of line, you're going to hell. Well, if you don't believe in hell, how the hell are you worried about going to hell? Karen, message retracted. Why? His own message. He retracted his own message. If he gave permission to film in the first place, share it to the group. Only fuck him. We're all willing to learn if he's not. He's the loser. He's the loser, Karen. He's the loser. But I have to have decorum and a little bit of sense and sensibility. I think you're right. He was videoed. He didn't have to have the lesson if he didn't want to. But to throw your toys out of the pram because you're not happy with what the trainer's telling you, that's his own fault, not ours. Nothing was done in that video. Nothing. And I've watched it twice. I could edit that video and tell a number of stories that would really, really help people out there. It would help a massive amount of people if that went globally public. I'm not going to go globally public. If it went globally public to show how far you get with food-based, lovely, bubbly training. Absolutely freaking shite it was. Absolute shite. We say it as it is. We were all so polite and calm with him. People were on the live feed. He took over the live feed. The questions were coming in. He didn't like the answers. Everybody in the discussion tried to educate him. After the discussion during the live chat the other week, where he would not listen, it would be educational to the group as not to public. We need debate and discuss, but not be nasty. Exactly, Graham. I agree. That's why I'm talking about it. It's not as if we're putting it up for the whole world to see, rubbishing him. But guess what? It would be far better out there for the whole world to see that this is what you get when you follow this trainer who he mentions. He's mentioned this trainer and said this trainer has taught him so much. In the video, the dog is so poor. And that's another thing, isn't it? If anyone's watched the last two videos I've just done, the standard of dog training wasn't particularly high. They need to work on it. And they're following the Corleone way. But they had the decency to come here, take a lesson, go away, come back and write to me and go, I really thoroughly enjoyed that lesson, Chris. We learned so much from you. Thank you so much. Have I put it all up? No, I haven't. Is that because I fear the backlash? No, but I don't want to take the chance of some freaking poisonous little shit who comes into the group who then goes, I'm going to video that off my video camera and show it because that's abuse in my eyes, because I've been listening to fluffy duffy freaking pet freaking freaking makes me sick. Makes me freaking sick the way the dog training world's going. You can see in the last two videos that I put up with that lovely couple from Wales that they absolutely adore their dogs, and yet they've trusted me to step in and show them how to change the mindset of those dogs in one lesson. One lesson. And other things will sort themselves out. Like I say, it's knowing when to go in, when to give a correction, how to give a correction, and what level of correction to give with each individual dog. And we got 3 dogs. We got an older dog we showed yesterday or today, and we showed a younger dog today, and we're going to show the naughtiest dog in the next video. They didn't say, don't put it up. They said, listen, we've learned from the group. We understand that we need to work on these dogs. You can put the videos up. Wasn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful that we've got people in the group who are willing to do that? Even though things didn't go right, but I use humor to diffuse it, don't I? To make a bit of a joke about it. But listen, when you watch the video, remember this, right? And ask the question, did it help the dog in any way? You have been open and honest with people, give them guidance. If you don't listen to advice given, then it's their issue, and never improve with their dogs. Exactly, Chris. You're dead right. And I have no problem with people coming in, you know, with not perhaps understanding our method of training, the way I teach, the way I use humor. And they might think, oh, I couldn't go there and have a lesson. No problem. I take that chance. But I've got to be me. I can't be not me. I can't pretend or put a veil over and be someone else who I'm not. What you see is what you get with me. Someone said, oh, yeah, but he's very direct, but at least you know where you stand. No problem. You can say what you like about me. I've got to be thick-skinned. Does it bother you? Sometimes it would bother you, wouldn't it? Surely, if you've got a heart. You know, Jaybird, if you never use corrections, you give the dog the wrong impressions of your goals, leaving the dog in a mindset that it's not productive for much longer than it needs to be. I think the whole point of it, Jay, is we should debate it. We should talk about it. It's part and parcel of what we should be doing. I saw a video today of Jamie Penrith, very emotional. Not me, for him. He's very emotional because he's passionate about following what he believes in. But what's he using an e-collar for? Is he using it to teach the dog an unwanted behavior? Well, all of you should say yes. That's why he doesn't want to lose the e-collar. And then we hear trainers going, if the e-collar gets banned tomorrow, I don't care. Well, it'll be the dogs that suffer. It will be the dogs that suffer. Do e-collars get abused? Of course they do. A lead gets abused. If you're yanking and cranking and you don't know what you're doing, and that's what people call it, as soon as you give a leash correction, it's yanking and cranking. The dog can make the choice. The dog's made the freaking choice. It's pulling its freaking neck off and actually going hoarse with that much pulling. You can kill a dog with a leash. You can kill a dog with love. This is the problem, isn't it? And they don't talk about that shit, do they? They don't talk about how many poor food-based trainers there are out there killing dogs with over-affection and not using the tool in the right way. And that's the thing. And that's why you've got to look at people like Zach George and go, you think you're better than everybody else because you follow the science? Well, I can tell you exactly what I said to him. I wrote it on my Facebook. I'll tell you exactly what I said to him because I was listening to his garbage, waffling to his freaking fan base who send him love hearts and freaking love and affection. And it makes me angry. It makes me angry. Do you think Jamie Penrith is angry? It makes me freaking angry, all the bullshit you read out there. And what did he say? Listen to this. Chris Upton. I got a freaking love heart from him today. There's an old saying, you don't know what you don't know. How true is that? You don't know what you don't know. Unless you studied it, how the frig do you know? How do you know? Now, if you study it a little bit, you might have a little bit of knowledge, but a little bit of knowledge, a bit like religion, could be dangerous because there could be a God out there and there could be God looking down at me going, you wait till you get up here, boy. You're going to be cleaning floors and slopping out for the next freaking 25 years where you're in heaven. I don't want that shit. Stick me with something because I'm not cleaning floors and slopping out. Right? So there's an old saying, you don't know what you don't know. So I said this is Zach George, and he sent me a freaking love heart because I was listening to the shit that was coming out of his mouth, and somebody wrote, there's an old saying, you don't know what you don't know. And I thought, yeah, you're dead right. You don't know what you don't know. And he put another love heart to them. And I thought, you're missing the point. They're talking about you, not to you, to make you. And if you read the comments under his things, he's got probably 50% slagging him off and 50% thinking the sun shines out his backside. How gullible are those people if they think Zach George is a good dog trainer? Is there anybody on here who thinks Zach George is a good dog trainer? Out of 10, 1 to 10, and 0 being nothing, give me your opinion about Zach George, please. 0 to 10. 2 says 2.
Tara's got it right. Zach George is an internet celebrity, not a dog trainer. It's all about views to generate revenue.
Well said. Who said that?
That was Tara.
Well done, Terrorist. Well done.
She said that a while back.
That was good. Good comment. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, if people Terrorist 100. Minus 100, yeah. So it just shows, doesn't it, how people are so gullible and vulnerable to these charlatans, and that's exactly like that's exactly like the Moonies, isn't it? And they follow these cultures. That's what I've been talking, like balancing it roughly with religion. Now, if I was a believer, I could be flogging the religion and saying, "Oh, these trainers are gods. They're gods in their own right." But how can you have somebody with a skill set of Ivan telling you one thing, and then another trainer telling you another thing, and it starts a dog wars, a split in the dog training world? Is it good for the dog training world, or is it debate? Well, it is debate in a way, isn't it? I mean, he has every right to express his opinion. But the problem is you've got to think of who you're working with. If you're working with pet people, do you need to have a dog to the level of temptation that we're going to put them in the field? Do you need to have that dog under control? And I'm not an obedience trainer. I don't go down that road of I'm an obedience trainer, number one. Then we use a little bit of gameplay, we use so many tools in the toolbox, but we talk about every subject. And I think without talking about, I think you are a 10. Stop it, Paul. Stop it. Stop it. Sue, can you tell me what you think I am, a 1 to 10, please? Because Paul started it. Or a 0 to 10, Sue. Paul Crocker says he thinks I'm a 10. I would put myself comfortably an 8. You know, might be blowing my own trumpet. Where I perhaps lose out is academically. I can't put it on paper the same as some people. I might confuse people sometimes with what I'm writing, and they think, "What the freak? What? Where is he going? What rabbit hole is he going down on this one?" And that sometimes is the fact that I'm dyslexic in the way my brain runs away with itself. Sometimes I perhaps overthink things in some ways, but because of my dyslexia, I keep it simple. I break it down to keep it simple. And do you think keeping your hand raised on the sit command or just raise momentarily? I do it as I'm teaching the dog, but once I've taught the dog, you shouldn't have to keep it there. No, because you'd be having a gun, wouldn't you, in a minute? The average pet person would probably absolutely mind blow by you and probably everyone in this chat. What does that mean, Sue? The average pet person would absolutely mind blown by you. Probably, yeah, I think they would, wouldn't they? You lose out because you don't have a professional camera crew following you. Yeah, just imagine they did makeup. Just imagine what I'd look like with makeup. Honestly, this is the thing, isn't it?
Makeup and hair.
Yeah, imagine I had Sue just fluff. She could be my fluffer, couldn't you? Before I come on, she could keep you all entertained, have you all laughing. Then I could come on and be very serious, couldn't I? I think what we try to do, eh? She wants me to have the correct lightning as well. Lightning. She wants to get struck down dead now. She's freaking good, isn't she? That's amazing. If you can blow your own trumpet. Stop it, Jeff. You rude bastard. He's being rude, Sue.
Jeffrey.
Susan. Jeffrey. Susan. You're getting Susan going now. Would you dye your beard? Says Steve Pace.
What's he saying?
Oh, Steve Pace.
Yeah, what's he saying?
What are you saying, Steve? Sue said. What are you saying? She loves my hair like this. She's always like that freaking one who chases kids on breakfast TV. What's his name?
No, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. What was his name? Come on, someone must know here. Schofield, that was it. Remember him? Oh, no. Ollie's not very happy with him, is she? She's not invited him to her birthday party. I wonder why. So like I was saying, I am controversial, aren't I? I say it the way I see it. If it upsets you, it upsets you. I've probably lost a quarter of my audience over the years by saying something stupid. But that doesn't mean, as the song goes, saying something stupid, but I love you. As long as I keep telling you all I love you, you might forgive me. Sorry, Sue. What? Oh, this is Steve. I thought that was Sue.
Just thinking of the camera shot.
Yeah, this is it. I could get my teeth done as well. I could open my mouth wider when I talk, couldn't I?
Yeah, but they can do it afterwards, can they? What do they do? What's it called?
Oh, here we go. Sue's online.
Around with all the
she wants me to fiddle around now. I'm freaking. This gets worse, doesn't it? I told you it's all about sex. She wants me to fiddle around afterwards. I will. Okay, Sue, give me a chance to get off here. So did you see our customers the last two videos? Did you see them? Well, I'll tell you a quick story. She phones me up and she says, my husband follows you and he's mad about watching your videos. And she said, any chance of coming down and giving him a surprise lesson? I'd love to come down and give him a surprise lesson. So we come down on holiday, book a holiday down there, and then we'll actually come for a lesson and he'll be over the moon, but don't tell him. I'll do it for his birthday. So I said, yeah, no problem. So I was in on this. So I was doing something on the gate, and I knew they were turning up at 11 o'clock. And I was doing some, I was going to say some grinding. Yeah, I was doing some grinding on the gate. See that fly? It's going freaking mental in front of me. Can you see it, everyone? Anyway, they turned up, and he must have thought, freaking hell, that's Chris Upton there. And she said he didn't know right up until he turned into the gate where he was. But as soon as he came in, he went, I recognise this. And they came into the conservatory. I recognise this. And it's like as if you're a film star, isn't it? It's like as if you're a film star. And some people get a little bit nervous as if like, oh, I've met Chris Upton for the first time. It's nothing, is it? It's absolutely nothing. I'm one of you. I'm the average Joe, aren't I? The average person. You know, nothing special. It's just that I've been doing something and I got a passion and I wanted to pass that on, and I'm fed up with seeing people being turned over and ripped off and lied to. But I've never ever put myself like above others, as in, oh, I'm special, I'm an elitist compared to everybody else. No, if you are successful at something and it works, and you have success through the way you train, why should you change? Of course you should change. You should, if you can get better and you can have a kind of way of training, then surely you'd pass that on, wouldn't you? And I have learned through using discipline and obedience, and learnt to use gameplay far more than I would have imagined going back 30 years. And I've passed that on. And how many of you have got happy dogs and yet you discipline them? And yet you've got happy dogs that work for you, want to work for you, love to work for you. You get the eye contact for the right reason, not because of the bullshit, the crap they feed you out there. And guess what? If we went public and we weren't just on Patreon, I would have a massive following yet again, like I did when I was on YouTube, giving it away for free. Massive following. Because there's still nobody out there. There's plenty of people pushing dog sales, there's plenty of people pushing dog training, but there's no one out there showing both sides of the coin. Do you agree or do you not agree? We've got 31 people in the house. We'll have another 150 people watch this within the next week. Do you agree or not agree that we get results? Our dogs love us, and yet we use all aspects of training to get the best out of these dogs. And we don't have nervous, frightened, neurotic, messed up minds because they've been over bombarded with nothing but love. Only 5 people who agree out of 30. Well, that's it. That's the end of the Upton show. I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. Oh, we get another one. We better get another 5 at least. If I don't get another 5, I'm gonna have to be on suicide watch tonight. You lot, I'm gonna have to be on suicide because a lot of you are just here to watch a car crash, aren't you? Jordan says, I agree, but I don't think it should ever be given away for free again. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. I think he's got a real good point there. I put my head above the parapet. Friend of the stars. What the friggin' hell are you talking about, Paul? Who? Who? Friend of the stars. Oh, yeah. Friend of the stars. Yeah, about that. Eh? It's amazing, you know. It's amazing that if you sit in the garden waiting for the fairy lights to come on, I did that the other night. It was friggin' nightmare. And I never sat watching the friggin' sky so much. And I'm saying to Sue, see that star up there? What star? I said, you can't see that star. She goes, no. I says, what about that one? No, I can't see that neither. I can see them too. I says, you're joking. There's 16 stars up there. I just can't believe it. I thought that my eyesight was getting bad and need glasses to read the freaking iPad. She can't even see the freaking stars in the sky, shining brightly. We have well-balanced dogs that can switch off, but instantly turned on with the get out command. Exactly, Steve. Exactly. That's exactly what it's about, isn't it? You see so many people talk about neurotic dogs and this thing's going frigging mental in front of this light. I think it's being blinded. Can you see it? Can you see it on the screen? It's just little fly thing. Can you see it? Sorted, Benja. It took a while, but can't wait to get back out training with you. Brilliant, Jeff. Lovely. And do you know what? That's a fine example, isn't it? If anybody had just watched the one series of how Jeff's dog's improved from being an absolute frigging head case to what he's got, and then somebody wrote, I won't say who it was, somebody who I follow, wrote, how many of these trainers can put up a dog after they've been training with someone and show how well that's kept that behavior? Well, it's really simple, isn't it? If you come to me for one lesson and I change your dog's behavior and I show you how to change the dog's behavior, if you don't keep it up, that dog's not going to keep that behavior up. That's the real answer, isn't it? That's the real answer. That's what someone should have wrote back after he made them comments. Not 500 people give a big thumbs up. Yeah. Say something freaking constructive. Because it doesn't matter how good you are as a trainer. If the person doesn't keep up the training, the dog's training will go backwards. It's as simple as that. That's why training is never-ending process, says Steve. Yep. And they don't shut down on bonfire night. That's it. We don't shut our dogs. Our dogs say open the window on a bonfire night, don't they? Open the curtains. I want to watch the show. And that's the whole point, isn't it? So I can get emotional, but when I get emotional, I get slightly angry and I rant. And I rant about injustice, or I rant about things that I don't agree with. And mine like fireworks. Yeah, I watched a program the other day about fireworks. Yeah, went off with a bang. Right, okay. So I've been waffling again, haven't I? Yet another hour of me waffling. I can't believe you lot sit here and watch. No wonder there's only 29 people in the house at the moment. Oh, do you know what? I just don't believe it. 9 thumbs up. That's all right, isn't it? I'll cope with 9 thumbs up. I won't be suicidal tonight. I'll sleep tonight. 57 minutes. You've got 2 minutes. You've got any questions? Kieran's leaving already. Look, he's on a promise again. He's freaking. I tell you, he's like a frisky rabbit lately, isn't he? Good night, Sue. Oh, freaking soft. Karen, stop it. You're pampering her. Oh, good night, Karen, she says. Good night, Haley. Come on, then. Has anybody got any questions before we go? You got 2 minutes. I don't know what Karen's doing tonight. I was joking. You might be a cat burglar. She's giggling away. There you go. Humor gets you anywhere in life. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Sue Ellen. Do you know what Karen's doing? Laugh out loud. No, I don't, Karen. Stop it. Go on, tell us, Karen. Go on, Karen, tell us. Go on, tell us. He's dog training in the dark. He's working with a dog for the Blind Association. He's training it in the dark. Come on, then. Any questions? You've got 2 minutes, you lot, before you go. 24. They're all dropping off now like flies, Sue. You got 2 minutes. Honestly, come on. That's it then, is it? It's finished. Right, shall we have an early night then? Bollocks all being good again. There you go, Frank Casey. Good night. Good night, everyone. Chris and Sue signing off with a minute to go. Sue, can you
make it 9:30?
Can you do anything in 30 seconds, Sue? Good night, all. Chris Upton signing off, and Sue. Catch you all later. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.